Our next speaker is Dr. Lopamudra Dasroy, and Lopa is the founder and president of Breast Cancer Hub. Lopa, good morning.
Good morning, Sherry, and thank you so much. So, thank you everyone, and it's an honor to be here, with all my MBCC brothers and all the esteemed speakers. And thank you for the opportunity, Brett, Peggy, Sherry, and the organizing committee. So I would just like to start because I kind of, so we collaborate with Male Breast Cancer Coalition, and to give a little background, I'm trying to, like, wherever I travel, it's like a global community I've tried to build up, and I travel to India extensively, like for 3 months a year, go to different villages and towns, and wherever I go, I take MBCC brothers with me. And that's why I wanted to really give a big round of applause to you all, because you have no idea what change and impact you are creating globally. And Patricia's story, Marlene's story, Brett's story, Michael's story, the full group story, everyone knows that. And saying that, I just give a little story here. Like last year in July, I was in South India, Chennai. So I was doing a session, like it was an urban place, it was not a village or anything. So there was a man, after my session, he comes up to me and says, can you touch my breast, like, under the nipple? I think, and then I touched it, it was like a solid tumor right there. And then he told me that I came here for my sister who is having breast cancer, when I got to know that, someone has come and is going to present. And he saw the slide that I presented about my MBCC brothers, and that's when the impact happened. Because even when we show the picture speaks volume, and that's why I wanted to thank you all. And we saved him, so he was detected early, and that's how I think with the outreaches, knowingly we saved 2 men detected early, versus all the cases that I went through with the oncologist in India. Wherever I traveled, I did more than 140 sessions, and I met so many oncologists all across, all male breast cancer detected late stage, and we couldn't save anyone. But at least knowingly now we know we saved 2 men, and that's because of you all. And thank you so much for what you are doing, and please keep doing that. So that is one aspect I wanted to bring up, like what awareness means. And the problem with male breast cancer is men are not aware that they can get breast cancer. So family history definitely matters. And in US also, I have seen so many cases where 90% of the time men come and tell me, what do we do? So that's when we have the breast self-exam card, which we produced together with MBCC and Sarah Cannon Cancer Institute. So that's the impact being created by MBCC, and really on behalf of everyone, I wanted to thank you for doing that. The next topic I wanted to address a little bit is on the interrelationship between arthritis and breast cancer. Now, that was my research, which got press release in 2012 in American Association of Cancer Research. And the reason I bring it up is we all need to know that what an important critical role inflammation plays in our body. So what we discovered was that of course, in the preclinical model, because as Dr. Benny said, that everything has to run in the transgenic model, because we can't do direct experiments on humans. That's unethical. We cannot do that. And so when we did tons of experiments for 5 years, we discovered that due to huge inflammation in the bones, which is derived from the pro-inflammatory cytokines, there is a lot of inflammation which helps the tumor cells to travel to the bones much faster. And there are tons of molecular signaling pathway, which I'm not going to discuss right now. But the reason why I bring it up is any inflammatory condition in your body, because when I tried to do more experiments on the breast tissues or different bone sections from breast cancer patients with arthritis, I couldn't find any, because when the patients are going to the oncologist, and that's where I would like to request oncologists in this forum that when you know that if someone is having another inflammatory disease condition, if we can really capture that, because that will become a great study in future too, because then we will have the tissues, breast tissues, because there's not only inflammation in the tumor microenvironment, but the other inflammatory conditions, diseases that kind of feeds each other. So that becomes, and I couldn't find any tissues to run my experiments on when it came to the human tissues. And also here I wanted to declare that not a single experiment I ran on male mice, transgenic mice. And that's the saddest part, that's why All the experiments were done on the female mice with all my research that I have done. And I'm so glad that now NIH, Dr. Park mentioned, NIH has brought this information that we cannot exclude the male. So we used to have run this experiment that all the males I would give, we would give it, all the PIs in the university, they would just give it to the others who were running experiments with other type of cancer. Because when it came to breast, we only thought of female. And that's why when I started Breast Cancer Hub, my main criteria was to work equally for women and men. So now what can we do if we have some inflammation, right? As Dr. Benny suggested, that dietary role is very targeted to the tissue type or the tumor type. But in general, we definitely need to bring down the inflammation and keep it controlled in the body with any pre-existing disease, whether it's diabetes or any other inflammatory disease. And we can definitely do that through our exercise, because exercise releases many hormones which kind of regulates the stress level, because stress also plays an important role with the tumor progression and like as there's tons of research which is going on. On the other side, diet plays a very important role. I'm not telling you to go and buy capsulated drugs like high antioxidant rich drugs from the market when you're going through a chemotherapy treatment, because we don't know how they're going to interact with each other, the cross reactivity of different drugs. But what I'm requesting is to lead a very healthy diet. Like for example, turmeric roots, it's a natural antioxidant. The byproduct is curcumin, which helps in keeping the inflammation down. Then also like ginger, garlic, onions, then a lot of fruits, vegetables, and curtailing down with the other food like processed food, then a lot of meat in the diet, which are really helping to generate a lot of free radicals in the body, which kind of like again leads to the damage of the DNA or like the progression of the cancer process. So healthy lifestyle is very important, and I'm talking with regard to the inflammation here, but irrespective is very important for any type of diseases. So that's how we can definitely think about, I'm just requesting everyone, because, with the progression or with the relapse, I know that we have to really work more on the tissues, as Dr. Park, Dr. Benny suggested, with the tissues and everything, but also the other factors with the lifestyle, we can curtail a lot of things which will definitely help. Now coming down, so to my last phase where I wanted to go more into like what we are trying to do with the research perspective. And I know like the cellular level, molecular level research needs to be done in the lab, but what I'm trying to focus is also on the epidemiological study. For example, when I'm doing the study in India, adopting villages in India, I'm equally trying to understand the different variables, the environmental factors. And here in US or globally, with the data, what I would love to do is more like what are the other variables playing a role with the male breast cancer? For example, the ethnicity, the culture, the geography, the different there are so many other variables which definitely plays a role, and that is like the family history, of course. But do we have the data which is showing up, which will be like very important for us? Because when I'm trying to find data, for example, as I said, if I'm trying to find data from the developing countries, just the simple data, what is the survival rate with male breast cancer in the developing countries, the most current data, the data shows up, and it's like mostly on late detection. But what shows up, like if I'm taking India, it shows up only a population of one state, like Delhi. But what is the true representation of the data just with a simple screening, any screening done? So those are the areas I want to really bring it up with the epidemiological research study, with the data, whatever is available, even in US, because I feel that that's really a grassroots level work that will help to understand that what we can do to help prevent the breast cancer scenario also. So saying that, like these are the different areas we are trying to capture, but definitely I would request that if you have any other pre-existing diseases along with your breast cancer, or, please try to target the other disease, because it's equally important to curtail down there's so many factors which feed each other, which feed the tumor microenvironment, and it helps with the progression of the cancer. Saying that, I'm really thankful to you for giving me the opportunity, and any questions I'm here to answer.
Yes, thank you, Lopa. One thing I want to show, Lopa has been very instrumental in our breast self-exam cards. And I have shared with everyone in the chat. Yeah, Michael's been showing it in the chat. If you go to that link, you can print it off right now in 14 different languages we have up on our website. So it's for males and females, and we've done the final just update from Arabic down to Nigerian. For Joseph, I just got his cards done. And, you know, we do go with the green. So digitally, anyone can download these and share the link with anyone to get the knowledge on how to do a proper breast self-exam. We have HCA Midwest Hospitals and Dr. Stephanie Graff for being part of it, and they're going to be our speakers later this afternoon. So if anybody has any quick questions for Dr. Lopa, please ask them now. We are running a little bit late, but hopefully we were not going to go for a full day today anyway. So any questions for Dr. Lopa?
Yes, I can see Tom, I think, raising his hand.
Okay, Tom, did you have a question or no? No,
Oh,
okay. Anybody else have a question? All right, without further ado then, Sherry, go ahead and introduce our next.
I think Joseph raised his hand. Wait 1 second.
Joseph, okay, go ahead, Joseph.
Lopa, you said something about cancer and arthritis. We have those cases, so many cases of arthritis in Kenya.
mhm.
And can you, just in a few words, what is the relationship? How does arthritis and cancer correlate?
Yeah, thank you so much. But I can definitely, you know, Peggy, if I get Mr. Joseph's email address, I can send him all my papers. So what we found that there's so much like the cytokines, right? The pro-inflammatory cytokines, that interleukin 17, interleukin 6, and you know, like other different cytokines are so upregulated that is one of the mechanism. And the other is we discovered that the mast cells have c-KIT receptor, and the breast cancer cells have the expression of stem cell factor, SCF. So when the tumor, you know, like it's traveling across, it's basically like a lock and key mechanism. So the expression, the SCF, it kind of goes and binds to the c-KIT receptor of the mast cell, which is highly present in the inflammatory regions, like, you know, with arthritis. So that was the mechanism that we discovered that and there are many articles that we have published with different pathways. So I can definitely share all of them with you, because I just don't want to, because of the lapse of time. But it's all coming down to the pro-inflammatory cytokines, which are already like the tumor cells have it because of the tumor microenvironment. And with arthritis, those are highly upregulated. So it's now giving like fuel in fire. So that's what happens.
And I will connect you all via email, not a problem, okay?
I hope I could answer a little bit of your question.
Yes, we'll do it, okay?